So I would like to show you how to put a transfer on a metal surface, because metal surfaces, there are a lot of things that are metal and they're objects, and you might want to put some transfers on. So I'm just going to show you the basics kind of what I do with metal, and then we'll look at some other metal. Let's see, what was I going to look at? Something else, I can't remember. We'll do it. Okay, so again, I am scratching this up. And this is aluminum, it's 16 gauge aluminum. And I scratch it up for several reasons. One is to make sure there's no real junk left on the top, or so that it's also smooth, so it will take your surface. You don't want any bumps or bubbles under things, because if you have them, it can lift your print, and then you'll have like a big mark in your print. So for this, I actually could use water. Oops, there goes my other print. Okay, I could use water on this and then dry it on a clean spot here, because all I've been doing with this towel has been using water. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what I would do for the surface and attaching my print. There's something nice about aluminum because it does allow you to get a really nice print. Again, if you haven't seen the other videos that I say this in, I won't say again, but you want to have the ink side down when you actually make your pattern. So the way I make my pattern is to go up against the edge of where it's a little lifted. And then I draw the pattern. My pen is running out of ink. Okay, I draw the pattern, then I cut it. Then I make sure it matches up once it's cut. And I usually cut inside the lines to give it a little leeway so that it gets on the inside of any of the raised parts of the edges. Whoop, I lost the end of my pattern. Oh no, that is the end of my pattern. Oh funny, there it is. I lost it in the reflection. Couldn't see the lines. So I just really need to do this side. And I do try to keep my fingers off the ink. I'm not perfect. And I can see that this here needs a little wipe off. Now, if I want to hold this steady while I'm doing this entire thing, I will take a piece of blue tape and then I will put it underneath. Now let's see if I'm right here. Okay, the only thing that I can see here is there's a little cut here in the metal. It goes in and out. If I don't get rid of that, a large part of this print will be lifted up away from the surface, and I will lose a bunch of the print. And it's a little close on some of these edges, so I think I'm just going to trim it again a little teeny bit closer. And make sure I'm measuring that up there. Because again, my pen is not working very well. So I'm going to give this a lot of leeway here so it does not lift. And then I am going to shave this a teeny. And shave that. Okay. So now I think I got a pretty good flat representative. I'm going to put transfer solution, and you want to make sure you don't get a bunch of bubbles in it on the metal, because those bubbles will show later when you're done and you will not like it. Metal can be tricky, so start with little stuff and practice. So we're going to lay this across. You want to make sure that you're laying it across instead of plopping it down so you do not get any air bubbles. So, I mean, I got a little aggressive there, so I didn't have to do that, but it's okay because in a design, it doesn't totally matter. So I hold this with my fingernail because this will slip all over the metal when you're doing this, and you don't want that. Then I'll do my thing, get this all adhered, and show you what happens. Lifting it off, and there it goes. Now you see we got a really nice print on the metal. I love doing aluminum because it's so bright. So you can get objects that are aluminum, and then you can cut out around them. So let me show you something like that. Now we're going to talk about doing a little teeny space like this and the way I do those, so that if you have whatever types of objects you have and you want to lay just little pieces of prints down on them, it does become easy, but it does take planning. So I'm going to do this piece right here, and I'm going to skip the point and just go right around the edge. Then, as I'm moving this around, I know I'm getting a very bad likeness. Then I'm going to cut this off. And did you see what I just did? No, you didn't, because you can't tell from the film. I did it on the ink side. Well, that's not going to work because you have to put the ink on the bottom side, so the shape will be all wrong. So I'll wait till the ink of this dries, and then I'll use that space again. So let's try this again. Okay. To do a little space like this, I'm going to draw around. And then I'm going to cut it out. So I can see that it's going right there. Now, here's the other thing, that you could put the transfer fluid there, or you could put it on the back with the ink. If you're not very good on putting it on the back with the ink, then it's not something you want to try, because you can get the ink all mushed up and make a mess of your transfer. So I would not do it first time on something you want to turn out, but on something you want to practice on, because when you practice, good stuff happens. So I am just pressing this in with my finger, and I can feel all the dips and crannies that it might not go into. So in a situation like this, where it has an actual opportunity to lift up because it's around a curved place, then I will probably work this maybe the entire 3 minutes. Once in a while, they come off really fast in these little areas, and the transfer film will just lift away. I can see it doing that down here, but the rest of it I don't think is done. So I'll continue to work it, and then we'll pull it off. Seems to be ready. And then you have it in a space that is narrow, and this entire piece now can be done with different designs, or you can just leave the design on the side. This is all about you learning a technique and then making it your own on the type of things that you want to work with.